Wingardium Leviosa. Yesterday, I saw Baltimore, and today, I might not see him today. So what we're going to be talking about is 3 books that I feel like maybe my message is skewed sometime when I rant, right? When I get a bit, because my philosophy has changed over the course of my life. Things change and things enter my life, and I'm more into. I would believe that Bob Doyle from hit movie The Secret. He looked up to other people that he looked up to besides the law of attraction. So there are other people that I look up to besides the law of attraction, besides all this. You know, my reason being is I'm not against, people think that I might be attacking psychic people or not. No, I met good psychic people. I met bad psychic people. How they interpret reality, of course. But as I do interview with amazing people who are intuitive and psychic, they're amazing people. They're doing amazing things for the world. It's just that when you let your ignorance of life, of things that you do not want to know, then you're pushing aside that which can make you grow. And oftentimes, the reason why people rather want to push, they rather. That's why I'm more influenced by people who read books or people who. There's a lot of people who read books actually, psychic people. The one who's more open-minded, I found out, they are more open-minded. They're not close-minded, but the people who are, other psychic people are very close-minded. Because I see Instagram post, there was one post where this lady, she said, I use intuition, I don't read. The reason why I said that because there's one book that affect my life, and that's called The Slight Edge. Uh, the Slight Edge talk about how the high school student, like you're no better than the high school student who graduate from high school and then they never pick up a book again. The average CEO read about 50 books per year. Brian Tracy says 50 books per year equals a PhD. Now, most people say books aren't the answers or learning. I was listening to Ty Lopez. I love Ty Lopez stuff. Most people don't like it, but books are a tool to guide you to whatever you want in life. And so most people don't like books. Most people don't like learning. Most people just want to be ignorant for the rest of their life. So that's why in my past, the reason why I read different subjects than most people because I want to know. Otherwise, if I don't, I don't know everything. And people who say you have all the answers, meaning they won't give way to understand more possibilities. Because for me, I don't understand. I don't have all the answers. I like be reading books, but experience in reading and all these type of things you're always constantly learning, whether you like it or not. You're here on this earth to learn. You still have yes, what was it? Yes, yesterday I interviewed an amazing lady who's very open-minded, and she's at that age that where most people are close-minded, but she used the internet, and I was surprised, and but everybody keeps saying I'm good with interviewing, and I'm not. I'm easy to talk to, and I'm kind. I was like, really? But because I think that's better to let people their happiness, come out. But today I'm going to be talking about that something that uh, I have looked into, and I love a philosophy for it, and I won't bash on it. I have 3 books, but and let's talk about it. Wicca, and Wicca. I know everybody know this for psychic people or whoever in our witchcraft, right? I have a couple of 2 friends that are witchcraft. I had to deal with this type of stuff before when I was in boarding school. they did like a pass on energy, something in a circle, and it's I didn't have a disbelief for it. I was like, okay, because one of my friends, she did, what was it? I don't know if they have psychic chat, whatever. I don't know all the type of drama. I don't know, but I have within my hand. I do have lots of other psychic books. So this one is um, the complete. It is psychic, being psychic, right? It's a very old one. I just read it. Um, I believe that everyone is psychic, so that's why I don't. It's very funny. There was this lady who claimed to be psychic. She do reading, and I think that she think that a cult is evil. But if you look deeper into the lores of a cult, it's a great book if whoever into a cult. Alchemy is actually a cult. Technically, The Secret is a cult. It's just been hidden from the masses. I mean, before I know that people talk about astral projections or stuff like that. What I'm really into deep those things. Technically, I'm more like intuitive, but I don't say right. But I mean, you can just feel a person when you feel the vibe. But anyway, this is an encyclopedia for. They have alchemy. They have Nicholas Flamel. Talk about Christianity. I think it has Lucifer. This is the book where it showed me Lucifer is the light barrier. I know most people get scared because they think it's the devil and witchcraft, whatever. I mean, people will be people. I think I also have Kabbalah. Kabbalah is also a form of occult. Everything just in general, Hermetic philosophy. Technically, the people who are starting to become aware of their energy within themselves, technically, these are occult knowledge. But anyway, my favorite, if all not all time, there's a book that I do have, and I probably did it before. Um, Talk about Wicca and witchcraft. It's called The Completed Idiot, Guide to Wicca and Witchcraft, and that's one of my favorite books because it talks about energy. You know, I think that most people who are Wicca or they are witchcraft, they know about energy, but I think that they're not using their harnessing their energy for to the fullest potential, right? And it's not enough to be able to uh, harness natural energy. Technically, magic. People think witchcraft is magic, but magic is we're using it every single day, and that is through our vibration, right? We're harnessing nature energy. So in this chapter, they call Wicca and witchcraft. Shamanism has been defined as the first religion. It exists prior to the earliest civilization, before our ancestors took the first step down the long journey to the present. Prior to this time, shamans were the medicine people, the power wielders, male and female. They walked magic and spoke to the spiritual nature. The shaman were the first human with knowledge. They created, discovered, nurtured, and used it. Knowledge is power. Women and men who possess it in those far-flung days were shamans. From the primitive beginnings arose all magic and religion, including Wicca. Despite the current controversy as the inquisitivity of Wicca, it is spiritually distinct from just rites. To refine and change for our world, Wicca still touch our souls and cause ecstasy, awareness shift, uniting us with deity. Many of these techniques of Wicca are shaman in origin. Wicca, therefore, can be described as shamanic religion, as but shamanism only selected for few compelled to enter a circle of light. Today, Wicca has dropped the ordeal of pain and the use of hallucinogens in favor of chanting, meditation, concentration, visualization, music, dance, invocation, and ritual drama. With these spiritual tools, the Wicca achieve a state of ritual consciousness similar to those attained by the most brutal shamanic orders. I deeply use the term alternate state of consciousness, just as changed consciousness states are unnatural, but are deviations from the normal waking consciousness. Wicca teaches that nature includes a broad spectrum of mental and spiritual state of which most of are ignorant. Effective Wicca ritual enable us to slip into such a state, allowing communication and communion with the goddess and goddess. Uh, Wicca, in common with many other religions, recognized as Didias dual. It reveres both the goddess and the god. They are equal, warm, and loving, no distant and resident in heaven, but on and present throughout the universe. Wicca also teaches that the physical is one of many realities. The physical is not the absolute highest expression, nor is the spiritual purer than base. The only difference between physical and the spiritual is the form of denser. And here we go. I like this one. Wicca is a religion that utilizes magic. This one is the most appealing and unique feature. Religious magic lives in strange as it might seem. Catholic priests use magic to transform a piece of bread into the body of the long-deceased Savior. Prayer, a common tool in many religions, simply a form of concentration and a communication with a deity. If the concentration is extensive, energy are sent out with the thoughts that may in time make the prayer come true. Prayer is a form of religious magic. Magic is the practice of moving natural, though little understood energy to effect new change. In Wicca, magic is used as a tool to sanctify ritual areas to improve ourselves and the world in which we live. Many people confuse Wicca and magic as if the two words were interchangeable. Wicca is a religion that embraces magic. So, there you have it. I mean, it's a great book, and I wish that he was alive today so I can interview him why he wrote the book and how can we harness our energy, right? And so oftentimes we get freaked out. You know, I for the love of God, like I did not knew that there was a second people who get freaked out by a code or by its use of knowledge. Now, by my understanding is that everyone uses their energy, whether they realize it or not. I'm talking about the masses in general, right? Because these books, Wicca, it's almost like self help, right? It's almost like that. Or alchemy. I had a person yesterday. He saw one of my videos because I interviewed, an amazing author who for alchemy, Dennis William Hawk. Now, he was asking, he's spiritual and he know the energy, right? But oftentimes I think that also witchcraft people or those people who are witches are they need help too because my friends who are they are witches, they do witchcraft, they need help too because at the end of the day they're human beings. The reason why I say that most oftentimes these books don't mention, but I think they should mention that when you go through life, you have to change your ideas about things. And most oftentimes, we don't want to change our ideas about things. For instance, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Nobody wants to understand Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. They're comfortable with whatever tools they got, right? And so we don't, as we get older, we don't try to test things out anymore. And I still am to the degree. I'm gonna do a book on. I sadly that lady passed away. I want to interview her, and my I want to be able. My thing about interview is not interviewing for their knowledge and of course to help them, of course, but interview is entering their world. When you enter someone, you're entering their mind, their thought patterns, their world and belief system. And so oftentimes when people have a belief system of prayer, they pray for something that they do not want. And most of the time, the people who are in witchcraft, and I hated to say it, but sometimes they contradict what they send out, right? We talk about what they say. Whatever you send out, where the Wicca, they have a book where what you send out come back to you to tenfold, right? So if we believe that, it's the same thing. Nature is natural energy. So yesterday he was trying to, the guy was asking me about transmuting the energy, our energy, into transforming into something that we want. Well, I told him a lot of things that whatever you do in life, well, passion isn't enough to be able to get where you want to go. You have to develop the skills and knowledge, and we miss that point. And that's my, most people, and it's my. This is I'm going to stand for, and I'm going to stand for it right now. I'm going to stand. You need knowledge and skills, right? And that's why I can. That's why I can say these things. Otherwise, I don't think Ty Lopez can say it. Well, he can say it now, and most people would disagree with him. But since I'm like in between worlds with crossing between the knowledge and spirituality and all occult stuff, I can get to say that because I put in the time, and I put in the time to teach this, search out knowledge and interview people, right? And people get weird out, especially people who misunderstand and represent the Wicca and witchcraft. I'm doing a good service for the world for opening up about Wicca and witchcraft. People get scared out. I mean, most people when the secret came out, they think it was of the devil, but the devil is them saying not living their dream. Most I remember back then when I started believing in secrets and stuff like that, and people say the secret has ruined many lives. The only reason why the secret people think it ruined their lives because it doesn't touch base on the stuff that you need to learn. Like people, people get offended if you bash on their belief system, right? And they don't like it. So whatever you download from the universe or you download whatever you have gift, you should share that with the world, but also be open minded to sharing that with the gift with the world. I believe that we all have different uh, abilities. We have different uniqueness within us, right? I believe that God is always within me, and God is always helping me in a way when I was little, still, right? But I remember I was talking to my friend. Well, we talk often for when I start discovering about witchcraft and Wicca, and he still have a disbelief about whether people think religion or not. I think that many religion has. If you actually take the time to actually cut deep into the religion, it's gonna say the same thing but interpret differently. It's just that people have really close-minded point of views about life in general. So for people who are in Wicca and witchcraft, there are good things in life. But in order to actually transmute for what you want, it's not just enough to visualize or write down your goals and know burn your goals, but you actually have to take a form of action, either inspire action or what you're afraid of. You have to move forward of what you're afraid of, right? Because when you take the action, it's actually a form of energy moving, right? If, for instance, if I want to ask someone to interview, if I never took the time to ask, it wouldn't be there in the mind because you're transferring energy to them. So if you have a thought and you have a visual and you believe it and you move that into action, things happen, right? It's always a form of action. And whether people think it's force or believe or flow, whatever that is, it's up to them. Where things happen right away, things doesn't happen right away, right? And so often when people are into Wicca and witchcraft, my friend was disappointed in not manifesting whatever money he wanted, um, or financial whatever, right? So he stopped believing in witchcraft, and it sounded like it because he was like, oh, it's just a fun thing, and you know, well, if you actually want to harness energy, it has to go through your mind, right? Your mind is switching off vibration all the time, off and on. where they have a 17-second rule or whatever. It's still a rule. But right now, in an instant, you can change your mind, your vibration in an instant, your mood in an instant, your vibration changes. Tell me, if you interact with this world, your vibration changes as you switch your mind, right? So oftentimes, the reason why it's the same if witchcraft people who understood this philosophy, if they have a negative mindset or a negative attitude towards life. I once heard about, I once listened to Earl Nightingale, and he said beautifully, your attitude is when you reflect back to the world your attitude, and the world will reflect back to you the attitude. You know, is the world your mirror? Maybe it's the reaction of your reaction of other people's reaction, right? So the things I have to say about Wicca and witchcraft is for those who are into Wicca and witchcraft is you have to rise above the noise, right? Right now, when you're into this stuff, you're included with the masses. You're thinking like the masses. You're acting like the masses. So you become negative like the masses. You watch the news like the masses. So how can you change your life? How can you change your energy if you have negative space in that energy, right? I know that people have tough time. We're here. We're human. We have tough time. We're going through challenges. But it made me disappointed when it comes to people want to get fixed real quick. Nothing like it quick, real quick. But I do believe in it. In the other book, it talked about the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is the doorway for you to win in life. Mm, it depends what you believe, right? And I oftentimes, my friends who are witchcraft and nothing saying anything mean to them, so they're still stuck in the matrix. Right? I mean, their belief in this reality still hold them back from whatever they want it to be. I understand that they don't believe that good things can happen for you. That's the reason why when for those who are into witchcraft or witches, when you write down your goal, you actually have to believe it. That's where the magic begins. Because otherwise, if you write it down and you don't believe it, it won't happen. That's why in the magic of believing, magic do happen if you do not understand something. And that when you attract, you have to be able to believe it and accept it to be true. I interviewed Justin Perry, have a YouTube channel, over 1 million subscribers. I read his book and about it. Said you have it's a your thoughts. See, the thing is, what you want in your life, it's a held thought. At first, I thought he said hell, right? Hell, but he said held thought that you when you hold it, a thought, a goal is you have to create a vision and you move toward that vision, right? And then you attract things into your life, right? Here's the thing that I can prove to people that things do happen for us if we do it with an intention of belief. Like you believe it to be true. Back then when I didn't have the support of other entrepreneurs or authors, I would imagine myself, visualize myself in picture. There's a talk about what's it? I will talk about visualization later, but that book is a great book. I interview a amazing author, which of course, I interview an amazing author, right? But Robert Bruce and Carla Imbrus, they're amazing people. But in that book, he's talking about visualization, and he thinks that that's not good. It really doesn't work well for people, which I think too. But since I can use my visualization. I imagine myself surrounded by people who I want to interview, or by people in general, like really successful people. because whether your friends or family or people, success rub off on you. But if your friend doesn't want anything much, they just want to live like everybody else, then it will rub on off you too. Because most people dream die, right, at a very young age. And that's why I want to bring you the awareness is that you don't want your dream to die at a young age. And soon, when you don't do the thing like now, then you will regret it for the rest of your life. And you could have the energy, the things that you could have done. So, you know, I'm so happy. Like, I mean, of course, I have hard days, but I'm really happy. You know, I I'm like interacting with people, with authors, and they subscribe to my YouTube channel and they follow me on Instagram. That is my happiest day, right? And I'm happy that that's why I want to give back so much. It's not that I don't. Uh, they're I'm grateful, right, for them, and it's pretty cool. You're surrounded by authors. You're surrounded by people who do things in this world for the better, not for the bad of mankind. But but for those who want to transform their life, I think it's about time. When you decided, there's many ways of how to go set your goals, but oftentimes we set goals of the people around you, the general public around you, and the expectation of others. It's time that you set goals for something that you always wanted to do, always want, and you're having trouble because you never hear the side that we have technology nowadays. I don't know what you wanted to do, whether to share your knowledge on a platform, to share something that you're passionate about, right? And it is time that you step up and stop being average or being mediocre like everyone else. You have so much potential to offer the world. And if you're real Wicca and witchcraft and you believe in natural magic, it's time to release that magic, isn't it? It's time to it's time to create that magic that you always have inside and create it on the outside of your world, right? It's not a Most people get stuck um, from the 9 to 5. Like even witchcraft people have a programming of 9 to 5 or the masses about school or whatever. Yes, I believe. No, I wish school could have done better for society, but at the end of the day, school is just school or business. I know that I have my thing on school, whatever that is. That's okay. That's my belief system on school. But you have at your there's no excuse right now, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're witchcraft or occult or you have at your fingertip that you never had possession of before in your life. If you harness it, if you know how to use it, you'll find your way to whatever you wanted to do. Trust me, you have at your fingertip, but yet you don't use it. Yet we don't use it. And it's in front of it each and every day. The phone, you get to freaking look at your Instagram and all this stuff, Twitter, YouTube, Google. You have this at your fingertips, and yet we don't use it. It's sad, ladies and gentlemen. And most people aren't using Facebook as a productive way to get their message out there, or they're wasting their time. It's great to connect with friends and family, but if they're using it wrong, it doesn't matter. My message is it's time to rise up. It's time. I don't care if you have fear. We all have fear. Look, I interview every other people. They have fear, but regardless of that fear, they move towards what they fear. And regardless of what people say, regardless of what it is, at the end of the day, they're doing something they love to do. They share information. They they help people. They do something. You know, it's their win for them. Their family happiness, whatever that is. You know. Anyway, look, if you like this message, subscribe to my channel because I also would like to help those people who are in with their witchcraft. Because they're psychic people too, and so am I. I'm psychic, but I don't often say that. I already got rid of when you the reason why I read so many weird stuff is because of the magic of believing. He read like 10,000. He read 1,000 books, but he read like freaking taboo stuff that most of the world don't read. It's fun. It's interesting. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Oh, shh. Harry Potter's in my room. We're discussing a plan. We're taking over Hogwarts. Uh, he's gonna be, since Dumbledore has passed away, uh, uh, Harry Potter is gonna be the new headmaster, and I'm here to rise. Oh, that's next. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.